It's Megan Andrew, and I'm so excited to be here with you to share the brand new Gina K Designs card kit called Cheerful Garden. Now, this is a mega card kit. It is packed full of goodies. Let's take a look at what we have here. First, we have We Go Together. This is a stamp and die set, very Valentine's themed, very cutesy, great for coloring with alcohol markers or colored pencils. So cute. I love the sentiments We Go Together, like coffee and donuts. There's a very cute little house, a mailbox. I love it all. So cute. And then you have the coordinating die set. So easy to add to cards with that. Then we have the Cheerful Greetings stamp set. So everything has something to do with cheer on here. A little word of cheer, have a cheerful birthday, I'm cheering for you, which I love. And then kind of a scribble, which could be really fun to use on a quick and simple card. Love that one. There's also a die set that cuts out all of the Cheerful Greetings sentiments. Then you have this beautiful heart frame. Wow, this is absolutely gorgeous. I could definitely see myself using that on a card, and I think it would just add so much detail to a card front, plus make a really simple card, because once you die cut that, you could just put a sentiment right in the middle and call it a day. Beautiful. There is also a heart frame stencil, and this looks like it goes along with the heart frame die. Let's take a look at this stencil set. So you have the leaves and the dots that go around this design. So that's very cool. So then you can add some color to the background as well. Love that. Now we have Grand Garden Gate. This is a big one, you guys. Look how big that is. This would make a really, really interesting card. Very cool, large shaped card. Very cool design. And then we have the Grand Garden vines that you can use along with your Grand Garden Gate to add some interest there. Very, very cool. Let me show you what I'm most excited about in this kit. So this is the Cheerful Flowers suite, also included in the kit. And this is pretty amazing because you have a 3D embossing folder. Look at those flowers. You have a stamp set. And then you have a 3-piece stencil set. So the stencils have your leaves, your greenery, the main flower, and the inside of the flower too, the cutouts. Plus, with this 3D embossing folder, you also have dies that cut out the 3 flower shapes. So I'm going to show you 2 easy ways to create 2 different cards using this Cheerful Flowers product suite. And I'm starting here with a grip mat and 2 pieces of A2 smooth white cardstock. Now, I don't have Gina's full-size Intri-Cut, so on the Spellbinders Platinum 6, I'm only using the A platform base, the embossing folder with the paper inside, and then the C cutting plate. So we're not using a typical 3D embossing folder sandwich that would use the thicker plate on top. We're using the C cutting plate here. And that creates the perfect 3D embossed design. Look at how thick and beautiful that is. I'm going to start first with the stencil that has the flower centers and the stems. And so what I'm going to do is mainly focus on the stems, lining those up, and then getting the flower centers kind of in place. And because this 3D design is so popped up and high, it's really easy to see when something is or is not lined up. I'm going to start with Prickly Pear to do the middle of each flower. And I don't want it to be super dark, so I'm going to keep it quite light. So that was really fast. I used that detail brush there. And then I'm going to grab my cloth and just wipe off the excess prickly pear ink before I move on to the next step. So my next step is going to be my smaller detail brush, my smaller brush I should say, and Jelly Bean Green. So here I'm just going to kind of start on the stencil and blend upwards so that it kind of fades out a little bit lighter towards the top. Notice that because I'm using my smaller brushes, I'm not masking off because I have more control here with a smaller brush as to which areas I go to on my stencil. Okay, I'm not going to worry about switching out my green brush or anything here because I'm going to use another green. This is Fresh Asparagus. This time I'm just doing a little bit of shading around the bottom of those leaves and the stem. I'm going to take that off and look how beautiful those are. Perfect. Okay, so the next step is going to be the flowers, and this is very easy to line up and just putting that right in place just like so. Now for this one, I am going to grab Innocent Pink. I'm going to use a larger brush for this one. I'm not going to worry so much about the yellow center. I'm just going to try to focus the ink on those edges. I'm going to go in with a really light amount of Innocent Pink here because that center, those center portions are going to get colored in the next stencil. So I'm trying not to let my brush get too close to that flower center. Okay, the next stencil is going to color in those petal centers. So I'm going to line this up and I'm going to color this with Peach Bellini. Now I'm going to start in the center since that flower center is covered and really focus the majority of the color in the center of the flower. Feel. Wow, that is gorgeous. So I always recommend pulling things off of your grip mat just like that. Look at how beautiful that is. I love this color combination. So we used Jelly Bean Green and Fresh Asparagus. Then we used Prickly Pear, Innocent Pink, and then Peach Bellini. It's beautiful. For my second card, I've decided that I'm going to cut out some of those flowers instead of using the entire embossed panel. So here I'm using the 3 Cheerful Flowers dies to cut out the flower shapes from white cardstock first. So I'm using my Intri-Cut here. Now I'm going to take my 3 die cuts, and as you can see, I used a piece of scrap paper here, which is not ideal, but I don't think it will show through. It's funny that I grabbed a piece of paper that I had a piece of and ended up being a scrap that I had printed on, but this is still smooth white cardstock. So I'm placing my flowers in their places inside the embossing folder, and I'm going to close that and hold it as I run that through my die cutting machine. So now what I have are 3 beautifully embossed die cut flowers here instead of an entire panel of flowers. For the stems, I'm just going to go ahead and mask off the top and color those in. And I'm going to do the same shadowing effect with Fresh Asparagus. Next, I'm going to use the flower center stencil and color in those flower centers. And then I will follow with the flowers, first using Innocent Pink. Then I'll go to the flower centers using Peach Bellini, just like I did on the full A2 panel. So I have all of my card elements here, and I want to put them against this ocean mist color. I really think that it adds a beautiful hue to the mix that I've already used, and it really pops against the Innocent Pink and Peach Bellini. Now with this panel, the last thing that I want to do is die cut this because it will really smush all of that beautiful 3D effect that we have on the cardstock. So all I'm going to do here is just trim it by about 1/4 of an inch on all sides. So then that creates a really nice frame for this card. On this panel, I'm going to use this Master Layouts 18 frame to die cut this inner rectangle. And that's going to leave me with a frame that I can use on another project too. I'm also going to take the same frame and die cut it from white as well so I can get that beautiful white border around the blue rectangle. To adhere those two layers together, I'm going to use some Masking Magic strips. This is a really great product to use here, and then I can cover everything up with foam adhesive. Then I can grab that foam tape and just go right over the back. Before I put this on, I'm going to cover the back with some Connect glue to make sure that if it's not centered, I have a little bit of wiggle room. Of course, I put my foam adhesive on and then realized that I hadn't stamped my sentiment. So my plan is to use a little word of cheer to brighten your day from the Cheerful Greeting stamp. And I'm going to place this right here. And I think it's really important to make sure that you have your floral elements in place, or any element for that matter that you want to put on a card in place in advance so that you know where your sentiment is going to go. Now, the most important thing here is that I get this straight because I have one shot to do this. Amazingly, that worked and I didn't have to redo my panel, so I'm really pleased about that. I'm going to stamp another one of those sentiments for my second card. For my second card, I'm using Sending Cheerful Thoughts Your Way. And I'm also using in the navy for this one too. For this one, I have the coordinating die to die cut the sentiment out. And I will also die cut this 2 more times just using pieces of scrap paper. So I put together the 2 white layers, and then I'm just going to put the stamped layer on top. And once that adheres, I can just add it straight to my card front. While that card adheres, I can go ahead and get my flowers on this card, and I am going to go ahead and use the Connect glue instead of using foam or something else that may be a little bit tricky given how delicate these flowers are. The last step I'm taking here is just to add a few clear quartz sequins on both of my card fronts. And there are my finished cards. Thanks so much for joining me as I used the brand new Gina K Designs Cheerful Garden Mega Card Kit, and I really loved creating with the beautiful Cheerful Flowers product suite. Be sure to find the links to the products that I used, including that brand new Cheerful Garden Card Kit, in the video description below by clicking the More button. If you want to see more card making inspiration from me, don't forget to join me live on Fridays at noon Eastern Time, and be sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell notifications, and turn them to all so that you won't miss a thing. Thanks so much for watching, and happy creating, friends.